So we know how Ichigo's hollow powers are tied into his Soul Reaper powers, yeah. So considering what we have here in front of us with Vasalorde Ichigo being like basically his Soul Reaper powers, since he still only has like one of his sleeves on, does that mean that Vasalorde Ichigo here is only at 30% of his power? Or am I thinking way too hard into this?
Beat he beat Ulquiorra in this form with a third of his powers. Maybe even less, considering his sleeve is less fabric than your chest and back covers.
That's a that's one hell of a thought, isn't it? Boy, I think that guy in hell sure was onto something. Kokuto, yeah, sorry.
That's another thing, actually. God, I wish we had the DLC already up and running. So the Anime Expo panel just passed, and we've had the new trailer and some new information directly from Kubo, directly from the staff, directly from the cast, and that's wonderful. But we also had an announcement that Hellverse is going to be coming to theaters for a couple of days in August, which will probably have passed by now. And the announcement for that also shows the runtime of Hellverse being something like 45 minutes longer than its actual runtime.
Oh yeah, the default slide that we were looking at. God, could you imagine if they got more stuff in the Hellverse? That'd be wild.
So, that could be re-edited to maybe fit the themes of echoing Jaws of Hell, or, it could just be extra crap actually tacked on to the end, like more interviews and stuff. Sort of like what happened with the Yu-Gi-Oh! Movie a couple of years back, previewing the Brains dub. Or it could be any number of things, but something is going to happen there, hopefully. And even if not, even if it is the second worst Bleach movie, it's still a Bleach movie coming to theaters, so go watch that. Wait. Or have already watched that.
Wait, second worst? I thought the unanimous consent between us was that it was the worst one.
Yeah, it flips back and forth between Hellverse and Diamond Dust Rebellion. It really just depends how you're feeling that day.
Yeah.
Story.
Ouch, man. It's still not. Damn. It's still not a very low bar given how good the Bleach movies are in the whole anyway, but yeah. Anyway, guys, what's up? Bob and Brandon here. Welcome to Bleach Heat the Soul 7, and might seem a little bit different from what we've been doing up until now with the recordings, given that we're not just jumping right into the game doing a post-commentary. Nah, we're doing it live, sort of. Well, as live as you can get with that loose definition. Basically, we're doing a Let's Play recording over Discord and seeing how things turn out, so excellent way of experimenting right there. Also, yeah,
doing an over-the-phone job interview.
Essentially, I'm making it as good of an over-the-phone job interview as I possibly can. Also, in a different circumstance, I am the one actually helming up the game today. I guess that's because I accidentally became the Heat the Soul 7 guy. Oopsie, I claim no responsibility for this.
This was actually my idea, because the focus of 6 and the focus of 7 are in two completely different places. The focus of 6 is entirely in its story. That's why it's the longest one, the most detailed one, and the best one. The focus of 7 was very clearly on its gameplay, with a lot of improvements over 6, and especially over games prior. So since I'm more in tune with the story, and Babs is, of course, more in tune with the aiding fighting game gameplay, I decided he should be the one to handle 7 instead.
That is also fair. I'll also give it that, from what memory serves, I think 7 also does have a lot more diversity for the main story going through the story mode, such that you're not just using Ichigo in a retelling of the whole story. You're actually using like different captains and stuff like that.
Yes and no.
That'll be interesting. Also, one maybe slight disclaimer thing. Since this is emulator and since this is a very old PSP game, I have cheat codes. I'm not using them yet, but in case something goes south, Yami, they will be on tap. So we are keenly aware of this fact.
Refresh rate 77.
I don't know what that means. I think it's just a default thing that's a default thing PSP Gold came with. Funny enough, so I'm just gonna take the word for it.
That's your frame rate.
No, that's the actual. It's a long story. I think this has to do with like the way the cheat codes are actually handled in the system. I don't know. Something about bits and numbers I'm not too familiar with because I'm not a coder.
Alrighty.
Yeah, trust me. I wish the frame rate was 77. Anywho, so also, yeah, maybe I should just get this out of the way right now before we get too deep into this. Yes, there is the Heat the Soul translation patch. No, I don't know what's going on with that. Frankly, our Discord server has been quiet for a while now. I'll have to go bother them at some point. But if you need a brief explanation, so there is a group working on translating the game and also having competitive play set up. There was some of the game translated at a prior point to this. I'll go check up on them later, but needless to say, there is a little bit of the story mode translated already. I'm going to go hit them up a little bit later and see what's going on. Maybe we can make it into a stream. Who the hell knows? Let's go ahead and rock this bitch now.
I completely forgot about it until you mentioned it. And you hadn't seen any of it in 2 years.
Yeah, I tried swinging by the Discord and asked them, hey, what's going on with the translation patch? And no one immediately got back to me. So, yeah, I love those Discord servers that have like 5,000 people, but no one's really active in them. That's my favorite flavor. I was going to say gender, but no, let's not make that joke right now. And unfortunately, if you're familiar with our Heat the Soul 7 Let's Play, yeah, unfortunately, this is the first of the Heat the Soul games, to my knowledge, that does not have an actual proper animated intro. It's unfortunate, but does begin to show you, that does kind of show you where the priorities of this game kind of lie.
This game was made on no budget. So that's not entirely true. The only games that have an opening are 1, 2, and 6. And that also tells you especially that 6 was made with a lot of care, budget, and attention. Because 6 actually foreshadowed things in its opening that did not happen in the manga yet.
Really? I didn't remember that part, actually.
Yeah, it features Shinji appearing in Karakura Town to attack Aizen. That hadn't happened even in the manga yet.
Oh, yeah. Hell, even at this point in the story, with the very beginning, they didn't even get there yet, because Ichigo is still in Wakamundo. Right.
Yep.
Anyway, so I'm just going to briefly also mention this. One is that you mentioned that the music for the main menu is a little repetitive. I'll totally agree with that. But on the other hand, this menu is so fucking pretty. Oh my god. Like, literally there's no enhancements really happening here with, like, ROM hacks or anything. This is just upscaled, and holy shit, this cleans up really well.
So this is an iteration on 6's menu, because 1 through 5 just had regular-ass arcade fighting game menus, which meant bland, boring, and no substance to them.
Yeah.
6, as you've already seen, was also beautiful. This is just another take on that, and there's even more effects going on here. It's wonderful.
Yeah, it's just more like the... I'm about to say this. The RGB color spread of the menu just actually does make it look so fucking vibrant. And this is on a PSP screen, by the way, guys. This is fucking stellar.
I imagine playing this through Japanese PSN back compat on the OLED Vita.
Oh,
and nutting.
Big PP. Fuck. Okay, so, well, I guess without much further ado, we'll cover more things about this game as we go forward. We're not going to one and done this game necessarily. Actually, I think there's going to be a little bit of good content we're going to be able to bleed out of this. One, because, fireworks going off. Yay, we fucking Bleach anime is starting pretty soon. Also, the fact this is the first Let's Play we're doing live with each other since I moved out. And also, this game just has a good amount of content. For those watching this right now, I am actually working on a beginner's guide for Heat the Soul. It's mostly focused on 7, but there's a lot of elements you can incorporate into prior games like 6, 5 to a certain capacity, etc., etc. God, this render for Ulquiorra has always just like nuts me. Can you see my mouse, by the way?
No.
Ah, okay. Well, OBS can see my mouse. So yeah, this render of Ulquiorra, I think this is from the... I think this is the opening panel to the subsequent chapter after he popped the form. It always just looks so wicked to me. Like, this looks as close to like what the manga kind of was going for versus like what the anime was kind of looking like. I don't know if that makes sense or not.
It does. And you've got Ichigo here lurched over doing the Sero pose.
Yeah.
Apparently with his opposable horns, those things actually do rotate.
Oh my god, they do, don't they?
Yeah,
weird.
Some panels they're pointed straight up, some panels they point forward, and some panels they point directly down. So those things rotate, apparently. They're on a swivel.
Honestly, with how flexible holomasks seem to be already, with how like you can like maneuver them, I'm just thinking of like Rimjow laughing his ass off one time, and the mask actually moving with the movement. Like, whoa, okay. I can kind of see it. I imagine masks do
It
have
never
like a
does
certain
that
amount of
again.
malleability to them.
They never do that ever again. I love that. That was just a thing the anime decided to do, and I love it.
I know, it's so fucking silly. It's great.
Just like Grimjow's little dance.
Right? God. All right, so let's go ahead and actually jump into this. By the way, guys, relatively fresh story. I'm gonna.
Let's go with the top option.
Yeah. I'm gonna assume it's probably telling me there's no prior save data, so we're just gonna go ahead and jump right into it. Hello.
Oh yeah. Also, don't forget to hit the story button, not the fight button each time, to extend this an extra hour.
Right, that is correct. I actually am glad you brought that up because, so it's kind of, oh god, well this is gonna be weird. It's kind of like Raging Boss 1, where you can either choose to have a story recap, or you can just kind of jump right into the fight, even though you still have to deal with the non-skippable cutscene. Oof.
We're going for a bit of continuity here, since again, this is a direct sequel to 6, and none of the previous games are direct sequels to their prior iterations.
Will holding circle speed up the kanji going up the screen right now?
Only if it's not being narrated.
Oh, okay.
Sometimes if it's the optional fights, they'll just have a gray background with non-narrated text you can speed through. I did that very frequently.
Okay.
Also, some of these are just going to be narration like that. Sometimes it'll actually be character portraits talking to each other that you are never going to see anywhere else, and those portraits do emote.
Ah, okay. God, this really does upscale so fucking well. My god.
Yeah.
Small narminess with the PSP presentation aside because of the whole lack of budget and all. Damn, this is still nice to look at.
Also, Ulquiorra's model never having changed since war.
Hey, Orihime's back foot there is stepping off the ledge. I don't know if she sees that or not.
It's not a ledge. There's a wall right behind her.
I know, but like there's a bit of like shadow beneath her. I'm like, wait, is she about to walk off that ledge? That's kind of weird looking. So, catching us up from where we ended off with Heat Soul 6. Yes, we're actually continuing the story. Of course, you are more familiar with this immediately than I am, but yeah, coming off the heels of, well, not necessarily just the Grimjow fight, but also Kenpachi coming for the save with the Neutra invasion. Now we actually have Ichigo squaring up to Neutra. Ulquiorra, fuck me. Expect me to do that more than once, guys. I'm sorry. Brandon's way more in tune with Bleach stuff than I am at this present moment.
Right, so as you remember from last time, I've been rereading the manga one Sunday at a time at about 60 to 80 chapters per day, and that would probably only take about 3 hours, except for the fact that I'm actually doing a long Twitter thread that you can find on my Twitter profile, where I actually highlight all of the important details as they're happening, and also the funny bits, and the things that get foreshadowed 400 chapters in advance. Yes, I'm serious.
Yep.
And currently, I just finished up the Fullbring arc, and I'm about to go into the first session of the Blood War tomorrow, which will have been long since finished by the time this goes up.
Oh yeah, you're gonna be probably well done with the manga by now.
But it's funny that you talk about being in tune with the story, because you mentioned this coming off the heels of of Neutra's assault. And I just had a vision, not of the anime, not of the manga, but of Versus Crusade, where the person who comes to kidnap Orihime isn't Stark, it's Kaname.
Right, I remember that, yeah. I mean, Kaname's probably got the speed to do it anyway. It's just very funny they switched it up like that, because I don't think they had Stark really... I don't think they had Stark's proper model drawn up at the time.
Not for a game, no.
Nah.
This portion of Ichigo and Ulquiorra's fight is literally just a dick measuring contest.
Pretty much. It's pretty much the point of like, it's almost like what's gonna happen with Fake Karakura Town with all the captains fighting all the Espada, where it's like, show me your Bankai, no. Show me your resurrection, no. Well, I guess we're gonna be here a while then, and so they were. I give it shit. Actually, no, the generalness of Fake Karakura Town is still good, but boy, does it move at a glacial pace sometimes. I'm certain you would know that right now.
That's on the anime. It's not nearly, well, it's a bit problematic towards the back end, but it's not nearly as bad. When the flower is purple or pink instead of blue, that's the optional fight, and that's the ones where you should have the option to skip past it or speed up if you hold down circle.
I see.
Oh, is it not doing it?
I just pressed circle and it didn't immediately end. So again, guys, since we are playing this on emulator, I am going to be utilizing the speed up button occasionally to flagrant usage. Oh boy, yeah, here we go.
Yami did appear. This did happen. It's just not important.
It's very not important. Like, I sometimes forget this actually happened.
That's because the moment he walked into the room, he got blasted back down to the ground floor by Uryu.
Yep. And no disrespect to Uryu whatsoever, but if you're getting bopped by that era of Uryu, then yeah, you're probably not gonna stick around too long. Again, no disrespect to him. We know what fucking Quincy's are capable of later on.
Well, no. Still a very strong Uryu. He would have beaten Zael if it weren't for the fact that Zael is basically just Mayuri, but more annoying.
that is a decent way of putting it, yeah.
Zael has the iron skin. Mayuri is intentionally squishy.
Oops.
And so this game does a thing with its story mode that I don't like, but that it wouldn't have been able to be released at full price without. And that's the fact that it massively, and I mean massively, pads out its fight times. In the previous game, something like a character fight and then a character's transformation after a fight would be maybe 2 rounds. In this game, it ends up being like 6. I'm not kidding. So we're going to be here with Ulquiorra for a while. Not that I necessarily mind that, but it's it takes you a little bit out of the experience.
Yeah, to be fair, there were a billion things happening concurrently, like with this. Like there was even that one, Arankar who was trying to also assassinate Orihime out of jealousy, and that was kind of funny. I think Yami was actually the one who deep sixed her. Funny enough.
Yeah, she's like, he was like, what are these dumb bitches doing here? Don't they know that this is a Spada territory? And the black-haired one, whose name is Lowly, yes, I'm serious.
Uh-huh.
I don't think spelled the same way. It's like, hey, I'm gonna hit you with my poison resurrection, that's gonna kill you immediately. And then Yami literally backhands her and then throws her out the window.
Practically.
And that's the end of her. And that's when Uryu steps in and says, hey, let's go outside.
Can I activate resurrections with these characters? No, not with this one. So this one, as I found out in the streams last night, you can actually use the Quincy sword with this version of Uryu, but only through Awakening. And it looks like the game is not letting me do that right now. Damn it, it's not letting me have fun. Ah, well.
You can. It's on your melee buttons, I'm pretty sure.
No, so apparently there's 2 different versions of this Uryu. There's the base version.
Oh, you're in the base form.
Yeah,
you're in
the base form
then. The one.
I just tried Awakening and it didn't let me. It just immediately popped the rapid fire version. This.
Your ultimate is if it'll let you use it. Your ultimate is a counter. So try to get that to land, I guess.
Oh, that's what that was. I figured that was. There's that. And there's also
here's
the
a
other
different
version.
one. Yeah, and as I was trying to do the last time, if you would be so kind to try to highlight character ultimates where you can.
Attempting.
Yeah, that's a counter.
Do it again? Nope. Unfortunately, famously with the anime games releases side, aiding is kind of bad with programming enemies that will button read you sometimes. It's not horrible if you know how to deal with it, but trying to get them to do specific things, it's rough at times.
Oh yeah, no, it's borderline impossible to get them to actually fall for your counters.
Yeah. Man. Like, you have to react to some shit sometimes in order to pull it off. It's kind of obnoxious. And he got shot down 100 or so floors. It's great.